Welcome back, geeks, to your realm, Geekish Realm. Today, we're gonna review a movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. Bad Times at the El Royale is directed by Drew Goddard, starring Chris Hemsworth, Jeff Bridges, Cynthia Erivo, Dakota Johnson, and Jon Hamm. Now, I'm kind of a fan of Drew Goddard's work, his past work. I really loved his first movie, which was Cabin in the Woods, which was also starring Chris Hemsworth. And I'm a huge fan of Chris Hemsworth from Thor. And so I was looking forward to this movie for a quite long time since I watched the first trailer. So I watched this movie the day it releases, but I didn't get much time to record this review so I can put it up. But here I am, so let's review this movie. So basic story of this movie is there are 7 strangers and they all have a different kind of past they want to bury in, and they come to this hotel to stay a night, and that's how the story unfolds. And who will survive this night at El Royale is a very interesting tale to see, because I really love this movie. I love every bit of this movie. It is so perfectly blended movie. We don't see that kind of movies today. We mostly get some action thriller or something like that. But this movie feels like it belongs in 90s or 80s. It do feels like that. And this movie take place in 60s, so they perfectly represented the 60s era in this movie. And the other thing that I really loved about this movie is acting. Now, acting is amazing. Chris Hemsworth is a scene stealer. Now, that's a warning the people who just going into this movie for the Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is not into this movie that much. His first appearance he first appears in the movie in the middle of the movie. I'm like, the half of the movie is gone, and now we got to see the Chris Hemsworth for a short period of time. So it's basically build up to Chris Hemsworth's appearance, and oh my God, he's so good when he comes on screen. I really loved how he threw his Thor persona, and we feel that too. I went in this movie feeling like, this is Chris Hemsworth, and what's going on his performance, but he nailed as an actor. I never felt I was watching Thor on screen. I was watching, this guy is sinister. This guy's, oh my God, what he's doing. So that kind of character he's playing. He's basically antagonist of the movie, and the other actors did so well. Cynthia, I mean, like, I love Cynthia's work in this movie, and her other movie is also coming, Widows, later in the year. So I'm looking forward to that movie too, because she sold herself in this movie. I'm like, I'm sell. Her acting skills are on par with any other actor. When she's alone, she's having. I really love the way I really love the way her character and Jeff Bridges' character interact with each other, because those are the strong part of this movie. The conversation, the dialogues, the whole cinematography, the shots are perfectly balanced. And talking about acting, Dakota Johnson redeemed herself after 50 Shades trilogy. I must say that, because she was so good in this movie. I completely bought her as her character, and she was badass. She was carrying shotgun and shooting people, I must say that. And there are a lot of death in this movie, and especially unexpected deaths. You won't see them coming, and when they come, I was like, oh my God, nobody's safe in this movie. But that doesn't take anything from this movie. This movie plays so well with the timing. This movie is long. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, but it plays so well. The pacing, it's kind of off in the middle, but it doesn't bother me, because I know they need to set up things for further, so that plays well. And it has so much mystery to it, so much, something is going to happen. This movie treat you like, okay, have this, but then twist comes, and you were like, oh, I didn't see that, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Where did that come from? So the other thing that I really liked about this movie is the way it's shot. I'm a sucker for the long shots where camera holds still into one frame and 2 characters are talking or something going on, or camera is just not cutting. the one take that I always love those shots, and this movie did it so well. You feel like, because those are the moments when the hype builds up, you feel like it's not cutting, and you feel the tension. Something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen, something's gonna happen, and then when it happens, it delivers. And I love how this movie plays with that. Okay, the plot is very simple, though the character development is the main focus of this movie. The dialogues between the two characters is basically the whole movie. It's like the conversation of two humans, two different personalities talking to each other, two different personalities interacting in a situation, and how that's gonna play out. This is the movie. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about how this is too Tarantino-esque. Yeah, I felt the same thing when I watched the movie, but I guess Goddard did it pretty well. I mean, like, a lot of people tried to be Tarantino and failed completely, but he did so good. In this movie, you don't see a flow storyline goes like straight, and you feel it going. It starts at one point, then it cuts to another point, and then it cuts to another point, and when you see the first point and interconnects with that point, it feels like, oh, so that happens, So there are a lot of scenes that happens at one time, but showed at a different time. And in the end, it all connects with each other. So I really loved how Cynthia's character was playing with it. She was she was nailing every beat. The music in this movie is so good. It feels like, yeah, you're in 60s, and so well placed in the movie. And when the music hits, there are lots of music numbers in this movie. It's not like, but you feel the tension in that scene. You feel the emotions with the music at the background. So you really love that. The background score is amazing. Now, quickly talk about the Chris Hemsworth situation here, because Chris Hemsworth is not in this movie a lot. He comes at the middle of this movie, and then he disappears after one scene, and in the end, in the third act, he's introduced in the third act, and he nails it. He completely nails it. He's show stealing it. Before he arrives in the story, Cynthia was the one who was stealing everything, but now Chris Hemsworth is stealing that shot. And there was one particular scene involving Chris Hemsworth, which is climax of this movie, and he completely, I must say, completely nailed it. It was so pleasure to watch him, and I was so glad that I was not seeing Thor on screen, I was seeing Chris Hemsworth. Now I have issue with this movie, which is not that big, because I love this movie and I'm going to rewatch this movie. And I think this movie is so rewatchable. It has that need to watch. It has that element that compels you to rewatch this movie. It's not that you didn't get everything in the first view. It's like you enjoyed it so much, you want to see, you want to experience that particular thing next time. So this movie, I'm gonna rewatch this movie, seriously. But my issues with this movie is the pacing. I know this movie is long, and I would have loved if this movie was like tack 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 tack. It goes so fast. It could have been that, but it didn't go. I completely see why they didn't completely shatter everything and go like bam 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 bam. It's a slow burn. It's a really slow burn. This movie take its time to set up the storyline, take its time to mold everything, set everything, and then boom, destroy it and rebuild it. So there's lots of revelations in this movie, and particularly in the end that bugged me, because I was watching this movie in the end. I was like, okay, so what's gonna happen now? I was at the edge of my seat, and when that particular moment, that character moment happened, I was like, what? Okay, I buy that. I love the whole of the movie. I won't complain about this little nitpick in the end, but it kind of bugged me. And yeah, there's if you're going to nitpick, there's one thing. Oh, how coincidental it is that all these guys wanted to stay in the same hotel at the same time. This movie reminds me of another movie. Identity. Now, what I'm saying is kind of a controversial thing to say, but this movie reminds me of Identity and Hateful Eight mixing together. Identity before that plot twist, and Hateful Eight as a Hateful Eight. So yeah, so this movie is solid 8 out of 10 for me. I highly recommend you to watch this movie, and please watch this movie. This movie needs the support. Not a lot of people going to watch this movie. I don't know why, but people should go and watch and enjoy this movie. I really loved it, and I hope you guys also will love it. Peace out. See you guys again.